Listen closely, and I mean really lean into the frequency of this transmission, because in the year 2026, the entire world has been transformed into a deafening, chaotic circus of desperate, hollow voices, all screaming at the top of their lungs for a fleeting, meaningless moment of digital attention. The machine wants you to believe, with every fiber of your being, that if you aren't constantly making noise, if you aren't broadcasting every single trivial thought that crosses your mind, and if you aren't explaining your very existence to every stranger you meet, then you simply do not exist in their reality. But today, Andrew is swinging wide the heavy, iron-bound doors of the 77th vault of the Edge Archives, the Silent Command. We are decoding the primary tactical advantage of John Wayne, his supernatural ability to dominate a room, a landscape, and an entire era without having to say a single, solitary word. You see, the Duke knew a secret that the year 2026 has forgotten. Volume is almost always a mask for internal weakness, but presence is the undeniable hallmark of true power. In the year 2026, people use a torrent of words to hide who they really are, but a sovereign man uses a wall of silence to reveal the depth of his strength. Doctor, record this opening protocol for the year 2026. The man who talks the most is usually the one with the least to say, and the one most terrified of what he might find in the quiet. We are studying the frontier stare today, the quiet, unshakable confidence of a man who knows exactly who he is, where he stands, and exactly why he doesn't need your approval, your validation, or your permission to prove his worth. Stand tall, partner, because in a world of frantic, high-definition whispers, the man who can hold his tongue and hold his ground is the only one who truly commands the field of battle. Analyze the explanation trap with me with a cold, strategic mind, because in the year 2026, the system tries to force you into a perpetual defensive posture by demanding that you explain your values, your life, your family, and your every choice to the digital mob. John Wayne never once fell into that trap. He understood a fundamental rule of human nature that we are reclaiming today. When you start explaining yourself to people who already hate you, you aren't defending yourself. You are simply handing them the scissors they need to clip your wings. We are decoding this sovereign silence. In the year 2026, guilt is manufactured by the machine by asking you too many unnecessary questions until you trip over your own words. But a man of grit knows that because I said so, or a simple, firm, unyielding look is often the most powerful and final answer in his entire tactical arsenal. The machine wants you to be transparent so it can audit your soul and find a way to tax your spirit. But the Duke was a fortress, and his silence was his impenetrable moat. Doctor, examine the Duke's personal records on interpersonal dominance, how he used his physical presence and a deliberate, calculated lack of speech to force others to reveal their own insecurities and their own lies. In the year 2026, your silence is a filter. It forces the weak and the compromised to fill the air with their own desperate noise, while you remain centered, calm, and tactically focused. Never give away your most valuable thoughts for free to a world that doesn't value you. If they want to know what you're thinking, let them earn that privilege through respect and through long-term loyalty, not through a digital interrogation. Your words should be like silver bullets, rare, expensive, and delivered with absolute, lethal precision only when necessary. In the third and most operational layer of the 77th protocol, we address the tactical edge of stillness. In the year 2026, speed is often mistaken for progress, and constant movement is mistaken for achievement. But John Wayne understood the power of the pause. He knew that the man who can stand perfectly still while the world is panicking around him is the man who will eventually lead that world. We are decoding the frontier stillness today. Think about the Duke in those classic standoffs. He didn't fidget, he didn't adjust his hat every 5 seconds, and he didn't feel the need to fill the silence with threats. He just stood there, a mountain of a man, letting the weight of his presence do the talking. In the year 2026, the system wants you jittery. It wants you reacting to every notification, every headline, and every social media spark. It wants you in a state of constant response. But when you adopt the silent command, you move from reactive to proactive. You decide when the conversation starts and when it ends. Doctor, record this. Silence is not the absence of communication. It is the most concentrated form of it. In 2026, your ability to remain silent in the face of an insult or quiet in the face of a crisis is a superpower that will terrify your enemies and inspire your allies. It shows that you are governed by an internal compass, not by the external noise of the machine. The Duke's silence was a statement of self-sufficiency. He didn't need to talk his way into power because he already held it within himself. We are reclaiming that internal throne today. Stop explaining, stop reacting, and start existing as a force that others must account for, rather than a voice that others can just turn down. Analyze the noise pollution of the soul within the 77th protocol, because in the year 2026, your attention is the most valuable resource you have, and the machine is stealing it one notification at a time. The Duke lived in a world where a man's word was his bond and his silence was his dignity. We are decoding the digital fast today. To master the silent command, you must first learn to silence the machine's influence in your own life. In the year 2026, the always-on culture is a psychological prison. They want you terrified of missing out on the latest manufactured outrage. But the lone wolf knows that the only thing you're missing out on is your own clarity. Doctor, examine the Duke's lifestyle on his ranch or his boat. How he sought out the quiet of the ocean and the desert to recalibrate his soul away from the Hollywood gossip. In 2026, you must create sanctuaries of silence. Turn off the feed. Put down the device. Look at the horizon until your eyes stop searching for a screen. This is where command is born, in the moments when you are alone with your own thoughts and the vastness of the truth. The machine can't track your silence, and it can't algorithmize your stillness. That makes you a ghost in their system and a giant in the real world. We are teaching you how to be loud in action and silent in speech. In 2026, results speak a language that no one can argue with. While the others are talking about what they're going to do, you are already halfway done, and you didn't feel the need to post a single picture of the process. That is the essence of the Duke's grit: doing the work, holding the line, and letting the finished product be your only statement. The world doesn't need more commentators. It needs more finishers who don't feel the need to explain the finish line. We are closing this Circus heavy and deeply authoritative 77th chapter of the Edge Archives with a final proclamation of presence. Look around you in the year 2026. Everyone is talking, but no one is being heard. Everyone is shouting, but no one is being respected. But you, partner, you are learning a different way. You have adopted this silent command, and you are beginning to realize that your greatest power lies in what you choose not to say. You understand now that your presence is a heavy weight that doesn't need the crutch of constant explanation. The system thinks it can control you through your digital interactions, but they forgot that a man who can thrive in silence is a man who is fundamentally uncontrollable. In the year 2026, your quiet dignity is the most radical act of defiance you can offer to a world of manufactured chaos. It is a sign that you belong to yourself and to no one else. John Wayne's final lesson for us today is this: don't ever lower your volume just to fit in, and don't ever raise it just to be heard. Just be, and let the world deal with the magnitude of your existence. This is Andrew, signing off from the 77th vault of the Edge Archives, where we speak only when the truth demands it, and we remain silent because our strength requires no introduction. The world is getting louder and more desperate by the second, but the silent command remains the bedrock of the sovereign soul. Go out there today and dominate your world with the power of your presence. Be the man who doesn't need to speak to be obeyed. Be the force that doesn't need to explain its direction. Stay rugged. Stay quiet. Stay completely, dangerously sovereign in your silence until the very last word is written in the stars. Andrew out.